Okay, it's week 5. It's time to check these guys again. I've gone through hive number 1 already. They're not quite ready. If you remember from last time, what I'm looking for is the frames, number 1 and 10, so the outside frames, to start having wax in them. And that's a sign that they're getting populated enough and spread out in their home enough to go ahead and add a second box on top, a second box of frames. Because right now, this frame box is actually empty. All it's doing is giving me a place to put the bucket with the sugar water. But when they get populated enough, we're going to go ahead and give them a whole nother, what's called a brood box, for them to continue to expand into, to give them the room to make even more bees. Once that second brood box is filled out, about 80%, so that frames 1 and 10 are just getting started, then I'll start putting on top what are called supers. And these are 10-inch boxes. The supers are, I want to say 8 inches. A little bit shorter, but they also have frames in them. And those frames are the ones that they'll store the honey in that I get to harvest. Anything they put in the brood boxes, honey-wise, pollen, etc., is all for them. That's what they live on. That's what they, in the fall, they'll have to have nice and full, because that's what they'll eat throughout the winter. Alright, so just like before, we're going to go ahead and pull out the first couple of frames. This is frame number 1. And just like before, there's a couple of bees, but no wax. It's number 2. And a couple of bees. But no wax, although they certainly look like they're paying more attention to it. Oh, move my smoke here, I'm upsetting those guys. Okay. Number 3. See, I'm getting better. A bee just bumped off my hand and didn't even respond. You guys remember the last video I jumped. I have not yet been bitten or stung, although I assume it will happen. Okay, so here's number 3. Number 3, a week ago, they were just getting started on this back side, but now they've got about 15% of that corner filled out. And they're, good 85% of the way down on this side. Move these guys a little bit. Okay, so this is frame number 4. Oh, it's heavy. Very well filled out on the back side. The abaxial side, as I've been calling it, using my veterinary terms. So we're on number 5 here, and you can see these are really heavily filled out. Seems like they like to fill out the corners near the sun first. It's the west-facing corner down here. On every one of the frames, that's the one that's been last to be filled out. Okay, and here we've got a spot where if we'd looked a week or 2 ago, this would have all been capped off with pupa. And now there's a big spot that's been uncapped, which means that there are new bees flying around. And not only has it been uncapped, but if I look in there, I see various stages of eggs and larvae. So we've got 3rd generation bees coming. That's a good sign. That's what we want to see. Oh, these are heavy. Be interesting to weigh one of these. I mean, they're heavy in that they're, well, probably 4 or 5 pounds. A hive tool here. It's like a little crowbar with some sharp edges. It's basically designed to let me pry things apart. Right now they're just producing wax, not a lot of propolis, but the wax will stick things together sometimes. These also produce this stuff called propolis, which they produce from tree sap. And they use it as a glue, a sealant, where they seal up cracks. If there's light coming in the hive, they'll try to plug the hole up. They also use it as an antibiotic or an antiseptic. So when beeswax is originally produced, it's very clean looking, very pale, not really white, but a pale cream. And if they're going to put brood, queen's going to lay an egg in a cell, one of the workers will come by and actually spread a really thin coating of this propolis on the inside of the cell. And it just makes sure that there's nothing in there that's going to harm the developing larvae. Well, over time, the more times they use the cell, the more the propolis will stain the wax. And so old wax will have a dark, kind of amber or even darker than amber color to it. Whereas new wax is very clean looking. So I don't know if you can even see this, but there's actually new wax right here. It's never been used before. It's really pale. Not white, but really pale. Okay, so this is number 9, and they're working on the axial surface. So it looks like this hive is a little bit behind the other one, because the other one was working on number 10 already. Alright, that's all we needed to do today. Go ahead and put this back together. So in the other box, 1 and 2 were empty. Actually, take that back, 2 was just getting started on, and 10 was getting started on. That's good, but I think I've got another week, maybe 2, on these guys before they're actually ready for a new box. Also wanted to show you this. So you see the opening there. The actual opening to the hive could potentially go the whole length of the box there, but I have it confined down with what's called a spacer, a bee space, opening reducer. And what that does, it just makes sure that the bees, when they're in smaller numbers, can defend the opening to their hive. When the bees are in full force, they shouldn't need that at all. Well, it's gotten to the point where there's so many bees coming in and out of these guys that I'm thinking it may be time to consider pulling those spacers out. Look at the other one here too. Trying not to rile them up too much.